All right, all right, all right. If you missed today, you missed a fun day. We played Name That Tune with some old school 80s and some 90s. We had a good time. Yeah, so if you missed it, I hate that you missed it, but hopefully you can join us next time. So we didn't have a review. We just, had a good time at the beginning of class. And then we finally got into a little bit new material, but basically some review over the phases of the economic system. And I go into detail with like what led to the Great Depression, getting into World War I, World War II, the Roaring Twenties. So just to kind of relate what happened in history to the business cycle with our economy, and then also, what to avoid and ways to avoid another depression. So let's start off, excuse me, with some visuals. So you guys can see. This right here, this time period, this is the Great Depression. So you guys can see economically, we were struggling. Nobody was working. People were poor. People were starving. Economically, money-wise, no production. We were hurting. And then you guys can see right here that World War II time period again, not quite as bad as the Great Depression, but once again, we were struggling with production. And then since then, we have figured out a way to kind of balance ourselves economically to keep people working, keep people productive, keep people making money with none of this action anymore. So it looks like we've kind of got the hang of this thing with how to keep our economy pretty stable. And we have. All right, so this is over the past 55 years. So just a little bit more recent look. The closest thing that we've had to a depression in my lifetime was the Great Recession of 2009, 2010. Your parents will remember this. Stock market went absolutely crazy. Pretty almost collapsed again. Shares of stock, let's say like Ford, were down to like $2 a share. We were struggling. People were being laid off from work. Unemployment got to 15% in some areas. Yeah. But once again, this was just called the Great Recession. We didn't really get to a depression period, which was good. We were able to recover fairly quickly. And just keep this in mind. In order to get to a depression period, it's almost like you have to stay in a prolonged recession. So if you get stuck in the mud in a recession for too long, you'll eventually fall into what's called a depression. So our main goal is to have these small increases, small decreases, almost like a heartbeat, to maintain a healthy economy. So that's where we want to stay. We can't continue to grow just like a balloon. It will eventually pop, and we can't fall and continue falling because we would all starve to death. We got to make something to live, guys. We have to eat. We have to drink. That stuff comes from somewhere. If we didn't buy it, we'd have to grow it ourselves. Just goes back to basic needs. So just to review over the 4 phases of your business cycle, we have the peak. This is also called prosperity. Unemployment is very low. People are working, people are making money, productivity is high. Because people have money, they're buying products and services, a lot of traffic. Picture Raleigh. All right, we start to slow down. So this would be like at the beginning of COVID. So our economy is slowing down, something's going on. But at the beginning of COVID, it hit the restaurant industry, it hit the delivering industry. We had to kind of adjust to what was going on. So things started to slow down. People weren't going out to eat. People weren't going out to the mall, which caused businesses to lose money, which in turn caused companies to start laying employees off. And then you have the Depression. This comes if you stay in a recession too long. So this is when the unemployment rate is extremely high, 20, 30%, 40%. People are losing their houses. Companies are actually filing bankruptcy. So just closing their doors, not just laying off employees, they're shutting down. And then just like when you're sick, you recover, you get better, you're feeling better. So our economy goes into a recovery phase where people are going back to work, companies are opening their doors, people are being more productive, they're making money, they're buying more products. All right, so getting into World War I. So this is before the Great Depression. So this is the early 1900s. So I want you to think about two groups of friends. You get your buddies, and then you got another group of friends that you know, but you're not close to them, but you know who they are. So two groups of friends. These friends of yours are called allies. So friends are allies. So you've got this one group of friends, we'll circle them in black. So you got Russia, France, British Empire, Italy, the United States, Japan, Romania, Serbia, Belgium, Greece, Portugal, and Montenegro. Okay, so that's one group of friends. Another group, we'll do them in green. There's Germany, Austria-Hungary, Turkey, and Bulgaria. So you've got two groups of friends here. The red group and the green group. So that's what's going on. So you've got an heir to a throne. So like you or your parents' heir. When they die, you're gonna get their stuff. So this guy, Archduke Ferdinand, he was gonna be the next leader over an area, over a group of people, over land. So he was gonna kind of like be the next king, if that makes sense. He was gonna be over Austria. Now, because back in the early 1900s, what people fought over was land. This is my land. This is my territory. I own it. We fought for it. It's ours. So this started all because of a conflict over land. So this guy was assassinated. He was killed by a guy in Serbia. And like I said, it was just over land. So whenever somebody's picking on your friend, or whenever somebody hurts your friend, you're going to step up. You're going to stand up to a bully. So that's what was happening. The friends got involved. But we're not talking about 2 or 3 friends. We're talking about millions of friends. So in World War I, over 10 million people died. This is where this war was taking place. So to give you guys a reference, what would be a good color to do this in? Let's try this blue. Over here is the United States. Okay, so across the Atlantic Ocean, you guys have ever been to the Atlantic Beach area? We're looking at over across the Atlantic Ocean over here. Okay, south of Europe. Okay, a little north of the Mediterranean Sea. So here's Italy, just to give you guys another reference. Germany's up here. Just a future reference for World War II. And this is just a little bit different look, so you guys can see where we are. All right, so here we go here. You know, the Archduke, he was assassinated, so Austria then invades Serbia. They were upset, so they retaliated, of course. This is the location. You see Germany over here. Remember Germany for World War II. So just remember Germany. Keep Germany in the back of your mind. All right, so just a little bit different look so you guys can see the groups of friends in different colors. So you got the group that's the pink. That's the Allies. And then the Central Powers are in green. And just remember that the United States sided with Russia in World War I. So you've got Russia and the United States versus Germany. Those are the two main military powers in these two wars. So we tried to stay neutral. We said it has nothing to do with us. Y'all handle it. We're gonna mind our own business. Until there was this ship, a boat, that was traveling from about the New York area over here off the coast of Ireland to Liverpool. Now remember, according to your map, all this struggle, this fight was happening over here. That's what's going on. So you got this war happening over here, and you got this ship that's crossing the Atlantic Ocean over here towards Ireland. Now back to our story. So Germany was destroying boats off the coast of Ireland. They had placed numerous ads telling Americans not to travel on the Lusitania. The Lusitania was supposed to be carrying weapons. It was masquerading around as a ship that was carrying passengers. And just like Americans, we don't listen. We thought it was our right to, travel wherever we wanted to. So despite the admiral's warning the Lusitania to avoid that area, we did anyway. There were a lot of Americans on that ship, and the Lusitania was bombed and sunk. So when Lusitania was sunk, there were about 130 Americans that were killed on the Lusitania. So Americans died. In comes the United States into World War I. So with that being said, we came in. Germany was defeated. And then you can imagine over in those parts of Europe, what Europe looked like. It was a war zone. Buildings were destroyed, houses, roads. Yeah, they were devastated. We came back home. We were celebrating. That's what led to the Roaring Twenties. So you guys can see right here, World War I leading into the Roaring Twenties. We grew. We grew, and we grew fast. We were celebrating. We were celebrating. Partying, music, dancing, movies. We were coming back. We were working. We were getting loans from the bank. We were happy. But we grew too fast. Can't blow up a balloon. If you blow up a balloon slower, you can actually blow more air into it than if you blew it up fast. So it's a healthy economy if you're growing slowly but steadily. Just like if you're slowing down, it's better if you slow down slowly instead of steadily. Okay, just slowly, slow down slowly. Doesn't need to be any kind of sharp decline or sharp incline. It needs to be slow growth or slow decline. Since we grew too fast because of inflation, goods surplus, power shortages, and loose banking, we were in a mess. So when the men came back from war, of course, they started to work again. When you're working, of course, you want stuff, so the demand is going up. So prices are going up. More people want something, the higher the price is going to be. Also, production was happening so fast. So everybody wanted the new thing. Everybody wanted, I want this, I want that. Kind of like now it is with a cell phone. So manufacturing plants were producing a lot of products. And at some point in time, everybody's going to have plenty. So production is going to slow down. But there were too many extra products because of that increased demand. So there's a lot of just wasted stuff because what was supplied was too much. Kind of like how there's too much Valentine's Day candy after Valentine's Day. You've got that extra stuff just kind of laying around. Took all that money to make all that stuff, and now it's just sitting around. And then also because of the speed of growth, we couldn't handle, our power grid couldn't handle what it needed. We had power shortages. Like if a transformer blows up, there's too much power going through there. And then also we were partying, we were happy, we were going to the bank saying, look, I want to buy, some more land. I need a loan. And the banks were saying, yeah, sure, here's some money, here's some money. They were giving out everybody money, which was called loose banking. And then what led to the stock market crash and the Great Depression. So when our demand went down, of course, companies had to lay off employees, people lost their jobs. And remember those people that were working, that were excited, that took out those bank loans, now they've lost their jobs, so they can't pay the bank back. So people were literally running to the bank to get their money out before the banks closed down, because the banks cannot survive unless you and I pay them back on our loans. And then people weren't working, people weren't producing, people weren't buying. So that caused the companies to shut down, which led to the stock market crash. And then remember, while all this is going on with us, the Roaring Twenties leading into the Great Depression, Hitler took over power in Germany because that area needed to be rebuilt. Hitler was a strong leader. He took over power, and that led to the Holocaust. Of course, we went back. We, got involved in World War II. Hitler was dealt with. We came back from war. Again, World War II. Men started working again. When the veterans came back, they were given money to go to college, to buy houses and farms. And then we got back on our feet again. So just to kind of show you guys that time period again, so you guys can see what happened with our economy during the Great Depression, and then right there in World War II. And that's what we did today. Go into Canvas, do your exit ticket, and then just make sure you've got your stock comparison into me by Friday.